Okay, so there's been an update in the Sykkuno files as the main character himself has responded. And funnily enough, his tweet, which I was just about to read up for you, has been voice acted. I've seen some humiliating things in my lifetime, but this one is definitely up there in the top 10s. Now, of course, as I was going to record this, a video from Mujin also dropped on him explaining himself on the somewhat of a backlash that he received after making that video. Now, this is something that I also noticed in after uploading my reaction to that one, as many people flooded to the comment section to leave some opinions. Some of them were pretty good takes, some of them were, I will say, a little bit uncalled for. I will say that a lot of the comments that were left were a little bit beyond what I will actually reproach Mujin for doing. Obviously, there were some problems with that video. It felt very rushed. It didn't have the same amount of polish that the previous one used to have, and also, he kind of to a certain degree kind of broke his own rule, if you remember in the previous video about the Australian streamer.
And seeing that the community lead unfortunately probably doesn't watch my channel, she didn't learn the very important lesson that is, there are two sides to every story. Conducting a ban based on one person's perspective is a recipe for disaster.
He pointed out pretty clearly that it is important to take both sides into the argument when you are presenting something like that and or assessing a situation of the sort. However, in his defense, Sykkuno more or less admitted what he did, so it's not exactly up to debate whether or not the man was a cheater, and a serial cheater at that. He just was, okay? And even in the apology, from what I've been skimming so far, is open right now on this page, he admits as much. Where I do understand that some people would have been taken a little bit aback was the utilization of the terminology predator. As I even stated in the start of my video, without even knowing it, the term is so, in these days, way too associated with being a diddler. So it's not like Sykkuno ever did something of the sort, right? He never involved with anybody that was underage, not even close to that, but the term encompasses way more than that. If you're a person who has ever had to deal with corporate management and their predatory practices, that's how we use the term. If you've had the unfortunate pleasure of dealing with an absurd landlord that was gassing up your prices and never doing anything to repair the apartment that they were meant to actually fix, personal experience, as you then find out that they have a history of being taken to court and even brought to national TV for their predatory practices, that's how you use the term. So you do not necessarily need to be a character that gets into a home and sits next to the kitchen counter and goes like, I'm not here looking for the little boy, I'm here looking for VTuber butt. That will be Sykkuno. Now, we're going to be listening to Mujin's update on this and or perhaps apology to a certain degree. But first, I want to check out the thing about Sykkuno and the VA reading his message instead. Because again, the man's a cheater, and Mel, the person who exposed him, is a dumbass and may have acted in bad faith. Although she's clearly a victim, it doesn't take away from the fact that the two of them are pretty dumb and are bad in this entire story. The only person who even comes close to being worth defending here is Sykkuno's girlfriend, and even then there are discussions about whether or not she could have left the relationship before, or whatever it was that actually kept her staying there. Was it actually financial incentive, or was it something deeper? We might learn something, but it's kind of fucking messy because why are we so up in people's business? Yeah, we learned that the guy is a serial cheater. Can we move on? But Jack, why aren't you moving on? Well, because this one sounds fucking funny.
I would like to apologize to everyone I have disappointed. Most of all, to my girlfriend. I am so sorry I put you through so much. I never want to make these mistakes again and hurt you and the people I care about.
But that's a weird thing to say when you already did the deed. Like, it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't thrice. There seemingly is like an entire network of girls that you may have had to deal with and, you know, gotten your noodle wet because you was treating this like a video game to get your XP up. Your words, not mine.
I was unfaithful. And I own and fully admit that. I lied to people and told them I was single, which I know is not right. I'm sorry to all of the people that I hurt by doing this. The following is not an attempt to minimize what I have done. However, I have seen some false accusations about me that are not true. I cannot allow false accusations and such extreme labels to be placed on me. I do understand that the people making these claims did it from a place of hurt. So please do not send any more hate to anyone. I just want the situation to get better. And I wish them the best. However, I have seen some false accusations about me that are not true. I cannot allow false accusations and such extreme labels to be placed on me. I do understand that the people making these claims did it from a place of hurt. So please do not send any more hate to anyone. I just want the situation to get better.
Reading this in that anime-ass voice adds so much more flavor. God damn. Oh my god. I just want everyone to get better.
This is the new My Hero Academia epilogue. All we need now is Lucy Christian, the VA for Uraraka to... I can't keep doing that. But would it be funny, the VA for Uraraka to actually come and read the female response to these messages? Like, I'm sorry that this voice is fucking sending me, man. I'm trying to take this seriously.
My girlfriend and I didn't respond quickly because we were already working on our relationship and communication before all this happened. Having so much private information exposed to the public has made it incredibly difficult for us to heal together. I will be taking a break from streaming and the internet to better myself and give us the time we need to try and improve our relationship. Thank you for reading, and I will continue to learn and grow from this experience.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to know whether or not he's being sincere. I hope it for him that he works on himself and the betterment of his partner, for which I don't understand how she's still with him, but it's her life, it's their decision. Well, according to her, also sharing a statement there, if it is a mutual decision that they've taken, then it's up to them, okay? I have no opinion in that case. I would personally never stick in a relationship when I've been betrayed. At least if my partner got with multiple people, and I hope he used protection. Has he gotten tested? Has she gotten tested? Well, at least he did claim in the previous video and or during the talk that he had that he didn't have any engagement with his girlfriend, that they grew distant for years. Which sort of brings into question the claim here of him trying to work on their relationship for a while before any of this came to the forefront. But that's like the messy part of relationship discussions that I tend to not want to get involved in, because then you start interjecting your own speculation. If it was like personal people that I knew, then sure, I would have gotten invested, but no. The one aspect that I can definitely get behind is that of a popular individual utilizing and or misusing the popularity to, well, act the way he did. To kind of put an emphasis on how difficult this can be, look at the response from the girlfriend's side. She goes through explaining how she thought that though no matter how broken I am, I never wanted this to be public. It deeply hurts me that I wasn't given a choice in that, so making this public or even just warned that this would be happening at all. I didn't want this. Again, it was part of private Discord servers, but yeah, the message got broadcasted to everybody else to see, which is a sad thing. And now while she understands that the people who may have come out with this did it in hurt, she never wanted again the situation to come public. Having my worst fears become my reality, then put on full display and used for profit for anyone to see is absolutely mortifying. It really feels like a nightmare. It was already hard enough trying to work through things in private. This has just added another layer of difficulty and stress on top of everything. It's made it so much harder for me to cope. Prior to all this becoming public, we were already making changes to improve our relationship. And were I to come with my own speculation here, this stuff is kind of difficult for anybody who's tried to follow these things to assess, because these cases, the person that came out with the accusations, which again Sykkuno agreed to, that he did something wrong, he lied, he sent money and all that stuff, occurred just this year, just a few months ago. So like, how come your man said that he's trying to figure things out while he's searching for the hustlers outside? This then brings us to Mujin, who put this one out. Let's listen.
Alright, so first things first, this video is not monetized. I'm not about to pull a CC in the big 2026. I'm making this in regard to my last video about Sykkuno. I want to clarify how this video came to be, while also taking accountability and apologizing for the mistakes that I made. At the same time, I also want to clear up some misinformation spread about me over the last few days. This video was meant to come out a bit earlier, but I was told by someone in the know that Sykkuno might release a joint statement with his girlfriend, so I chose to wait for that first, just in case. I'll also be going through that later in the video. So, how did this all begin? Well, for me, it was on April 7th when I was reached out to by Mal for the first time. I was told that a Google Doc was releasing soon about a big content creator. And this is when I was asked if I wanted access to it early to maybe make a video about it. The document was going to publicly release on the 10th anyway. This means that this wasn't some grand conspiracy, okay? This document was going to release with or without me. And while yes, rumors of Sykkuno's behavior have been floating around for a while now between certain content creator circles, none of this was gonna really convince me to make an early video. If you've watched my channel before, then you'd know that I'm someone who highly values both sides of the story. It's actually something that I always implore you to do before forming your own opinions. And while I do receive so many DMs about scoops or exclusive info about certain topics, I mostly never take them, always choosing to wait for things to unfold in public first before making my videos. What made the situation special though was the 17-minute video recording of the voice call between Mal and Sykkuno.
Yeah, well, quite literally there was an admission of guilt. So if the doc was meant to act as something that people would be assessing, going through the whole process of the course of public opinion, which is one hell of a mixed bag, we might get into that a bit later, and finally then put some suspicion on Sykkuno's back and thus painting him as a total cheater, then this video would have just cemented it.
Logic here was simple. It was me thinking that we already had the other side of the story, and it was Sykkuno admitting to his wrongdoings in the most raw and unfiltered way possible. So I figured that was enough. At the same time, I thought that since my channel had grown exponentially, don't ask me how or why because I have no idea, I could maybe use my platform for a good cause, spreading awareness about Sykkuno's behavior so that no one else gets tricked into being a homewrecker against their will, while in parallel, encouraging others who have been wronged by him to finally speak up. Additionally, seeing that the person speaking up was doing so from a small account, I figured I could help amplify that message to spread maximum awareness. Now yes, some people could definitely argue that I was desperate for a topic to bring in views, but to me it didn't matter because I was already lucky enough to be able to cover niche topics I enjoy and still somehow reach over 1 million views on them. Again, don't ask me how because I don't know, but that was just the reality. Here's the thing though. Releasing the video around the same time as the document meant that I was taking a substantial risk by putting my channel's reputation on the line. I knew this, even at the time, but it was a risk I was willing to take if it meant that I was doing the right thing. Unfortunately though, it didn't really work out as I had hoped, and I ended up making mistakes that I need to take accountability for, which is why we're here today. The first mistake can be found in the intro of the video, and it's me using the word predator. Yes, it was my idea, and the logic behind it was me trying to encompass everything, like the serial cheating, lying, and deliberate targeting of smaller content creators into one word. Before using it, I even made sure to double check its definition in multiple dictionaries, which said things like a person or an organization that uses weaker people for their own advantage, or one who injures or exploits others for personal gain or profit.
We've quite literally add in see also sexual predator, so there is a difference in the employment of the word, and I understand. Again, I wholeheartedly understand that because I too was afraid that that was something that would be associated with him. For the accusations today are painting him as a serial cheater and manipulator. At least he's not a predator.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
To this, I had to come to the conclusion that yeah, this word fits. I'd find out quickly afterwards, though, that for many people, that word is only reserved to describe pedophiles or sexual predators. which made a substantial amount of people feel misled after watching the intro of my video. It made it seem like a hit piece, exaggerating things, and it also made it seem like Sykkuno had committed very serious crimes, enough to land him in a high-security prison or something, when that clearly wasn't the case. That was not my intention at all, and I'm sorry for that. From now on, I'll only use that word to refer to pedophiles or sexual predators. That's it, no exceptions. I'd also like to say that yes, the video was rushed. It simply didn't meet the quality standard that you'd expect of me, and that's without even mentioning that it was clearly biased and didn't attempt to see different viewpoints. There's a reason I don't typically reach out to people involved in public incidents, because it's very easy to form bias after you communicate directly with them. It's just human. So yeah, what Mal said at the end of her call with Sykkuno was off-putting, and it wouldn't have hurt for me to point that out. I get that. I was instead more focused on Sykkuno's admittance of guilt. I'm sorry for letting you guys down in that regard. You trust me with a certain quality standard, and I just couldn't deliver it this time, and that's on me. I also want to apologize to Sykkuno's girlfriend. In the 17-minute video of the voice recording, there was one frame, which represents 1/60th of a second that wasn't blurred. And it leaked to the group chat she was in when she found out that Sykkuno had been cheating on her with multiple people. This frame was enough for certain individuals to confirm her username, and it impeded on her privacy. I was not the one who handled blurring it, but I still included the entire thing in my own video and completely missed that detail. So I take full responsibility for that. I'm sorry. Now look, with all that being said, apologies are great, but there's no use presenting them if there's no attempt to act on them. And that's exactly what I intend to do. But first, I want to go through some misinfo that was spread about me in recent days and set the record straight. When the video first released, XQC reacted to it almost immediately and would spend his time defending Sykkuno while trying to undermine the things he's done to people. He would also comment on my video. In that comment, he'd make it seem like my problem with Sykkuno's behavior had to do with the lack of clout of the women he reached out to. And then
I'm sorry, what? If he can only date people that are or more famous than he is, then who could he have dated during his peak era? What kind of... There were 0 creators that qualified for that. Please clarify. Why is this man so dense? I have never, in the entirety of my being here on YouTube, whenever I hear a take from XQC, it is always something so fucking dense. Nobody's saying that you cannot date somebody with less clout. Nobody's even saying that you cannot date a fan. Example of highly popular YouTubers who actually kind of fit the bill with a similar approach to things, although one of them is a little bit more perverted than the other, depending on how you look at it. MXR. Remember that channel that unfortunately got terminated from YouTube? He quite literally dated a fan, and they became the best item on this platform for a very long time until they actually pushed the envelope too far. There is such things as too much lewdness, but like this take is very dumb.
In any case, what would happen next is a narrative that would form saying that I deleted his comment because I couldn't handle his unparalleled wisdom. As you can see, that's false. It's still right here, along with all the wonderful comments left by his community too. I really don't know why he and some other content creators tried so hard to defend Sykkuno's behavior, as if he was their long-lost brother or something. All I know is that cheating has been shunned by humanity for thousands of years, regardless of gender. Maybe normalizing it now is probably a bad idea, but hey, you're free to form your own opinion.
I will say, without speculating too much, that it's a little bit of a concentrated effort from people who have acted similarly. I'm not accusing XQC of that, but I have, after uploading that video, seen videos by other content creators who don't exactly have the best moral compass, sharing videos about how we should be cancelling Mujin, the likes of Tectone, who is... I mean, what do you want me to say about Tectone? Lakari Light? Actually, that's funnier than I initially thought. Who, if you check his channel right now, has done multiple videos about, oh, it's over for Mujin now, and blah blah blah. And all this because they are angry that Mel wasn't being put on the chopping block as much as Sykkuno was. She's definitely not doing herself any service with how she ended that message, but that doesn't make Sykkuno not guilty.
Go for it. Next, some people tried to claim that I changed my video's title because I was scared of a defamation lawsuit from Sykkuno. Sure, a random lawyer from Fiverr might claim that. but it's false. Here's a neat trick. You can go to a website like viewstats.com, go to any channel, we'll pick, I don't know, Mr. Beast, click on a video, and you'll actually be able to see any thumbnail or title changes since upload.
Jesus
Pretty cool, right?
Christ.
Now, if you were to do that
How
with my
many
video, you'd
thumbnails
see
does
that
he
there were
have?
no thumbnail or title changes whatsoever since upload. So that's false. And look, defamation is about knowingly lying about someone in order to ruin their reputation. I had no intention of lying in my video about Sykkuno. And if I did want to lie, then wouldn't I have just simply removed the last 2 minutes of Mal and Sykkuno's voice call so that she looks way better and he looks way worse? It just doesn't make sense. I
Could've
never
done
make
that.
any video with the intention of lying. Period. And finally, when it comes to misinfo, there's also something else that honestly doesn't deserve attention at all, but I'll still mention it. And it's this weird rumor or fan fiction that some people made up saying that I only made this video to try and get with the women that were affected by Sykkuno's actions. Anyone who knows me or has ever spoken with me in the content creation sphere knows that I never even attempt to flirt. I keep
It's the fucking internet, man. I uploaded a video the other day where I got literally a bot that was saying some nonsense that didn't make any sense whatsoever. But that gets boosted somehow, and suddenly a rumor starts going. The internet is scuffed sometimes, man.
things strictly professional. I take my platform very seriously and would never seek to use it in that way. It's simply not who I am. It's obviously also very disrespectful to anyone who was hurt by Sykkuno's actions, but it's not like the people peddling these rumors cared about them to begin with. All right, so next up we have the joint statement that was posted by Sykkuno and his girlfriend. The first half would be written by Sykkuno. In it, he'd reiterate that he lied to people about being single and that he has been unfaithful to his girlfriend. He'd apologize and say that he'd be taking a break from streaming in order to better himself. He'd also call out anyone trying to frame him with false accusations. So yeah, as you can see, not much has changed. He's already admitted to these things in the voice call with Mal. When it comes to false accusations though, yes, there are stories that have circulated for years among some VTubers that accuse Sykkuno of doing worse than cheating. At this point though, it is not up to me to say whether it's true or not.
And in all fairness, Mujin never did that, and he quite strictly stuck with the cheating allegations.
Not, just pointing out what he might be referring to. He could also be referring to the word predator, which I already apologized for. Now, the second half of this statement would be written by his girlfriend. She'd express how hard this has all been on her, and how hurt she felt over not having a choice on whether this went public or not, saying that she understands that many people were hurt, but that her feelings felt like they weren't really considered at all. She'd call out people who sought to use this incident for profit, and would say that even prior to this going public, she was already trying to work through things with Sykkuno in order to repair their relationship together. She'd end her statement by saying that even with everything that has come out, she doesn't consider Sykkuno's actions irredeemable. She's going to stay with him and try to fix their relationship in spite of everything. Listen, I can't imagine what she's been through in just these last few weeks. Finding out that your boyfriend has been cheating on you for years, that he slept with someone as recently as December 2025 behind your back, and that he was still trying to arrange a meetup with someone else as you were already trying to fix your relationship after what had happened in December. I mean, seriously, it's just insane. But I do think this needs to be said. The fact that this went public is unfortunate, but people were genuinely hurt by Sykkuno lying to them that he was single. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion at this point. Let me know if you think it is, but if someone lied to me about being single, and I later found out that us having sex directly hurt their partner, made them depressed, and ruined or at least endangered a 5-year-long relationship, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. That's simply not what I would have signed up for. And seeing that he's a public figure who used this public standing to get with these women after lying to them, it felt like this going public was going to be inevitable. But that doesn't mean that her feelings are not valid, because they are. When it comes to me, I did have a hand in spreading this to the public by releasing my video so quickly, and I simply had no right to do so, and for that, I am sorry. Now, I've seen some people's reactions to this announcement, and yeah, as you might expect, it's not sunshine and roses. This whole topic has been extremely polarizing on the internet to begin with, and the girlfriend in particular is getting hate thrown her way, with people calling her things like gold digger or Stockholm Syndrome victim for not
No. You don't know. You don't know her side of the story, and if she doesn't want to share anything, stop. Just outright stop. If you have somebody to whom you need to kind of diverse your ire, it is Sykkuno and Sykkuno.
leaving him. Here's the thing though. What matters here is that Sykkuno stops his serial cheating streak and that he stops lying to women about him being single while turning them into homewreckers against their will. That's it. If she wants to stay, that's her choice. She doesn't deserve to get nasty things said about her though. I wish her the best, and I again would like to apologize if I directly contributed to any harm that she might have gone through. That was not my intention. Look, ultimately, My favorite YouTuber growing up was PewDiePie. Yeah, I enjoyed his sense of humor, the fact that for the longest time, he was the sole runner of his channel, which gave him so much authenticity. But most of all, what I really liked about him was that he was not ashamed of being human. He would make mistakes, but when he'd also sincerely apologize and work to learn from them. It's no secret that today, as a content creator, if you were to make a mistake, it would be so much easier to wait for it to die down in a week and then continue business as usual, as if nothing had happened. I was even advised by some to do exactly that and not release this video. And I understand why. It unfortunately works. But to me, it's simply the right thing to do, even if it leads to more scrutiny and people disliking me. I screwed up, I'm going to say sorry, and I will improve. So what am I going to change exactly? Well, to start, I'll never give another exception to a scoop or exclusive info. I will do what I've always done on this channel and talk about things that have already played out in public. I don't care if a 5-star general gives me info about World War III starting tomorrow. I will make the video after the nukes drop. I also realize now just how much you guys value my objectivity. I understand that I'm not perfect at it, and I probably never will be, but I'll always strive to present information to you in the most balanced way possible so that you can, in the end, form your own opinion.
Yeah, there's always a hidden angle somewhere that some person didn't catch. Like, have you ever visited a history channel? Like a genuine history YouTuber? The comment section will be filled with people either coming with their own anecdote or asking you, why the hell didn't you take the angle that talked about our version of the story? Like, bruv, somebody will be making a very substantial hour-long video about a very niche World War II subject, and then blam, somebody goes like, hey, you didn't talk about this thing. It always occurs. But yes, it is nice to see him strive for more objectivity. Of course, it's always best.
Finally, no matter how much this channel grows, I'll always ask you to be honest with me, and I promise to take accountability when needed, just like how I'm doing right now. So look, if the last video was a deal breaker for you and you want to unsubscribe, then I completely understand. But I won't let you leave without thanking you first. Take care, and may our paths cross again someday. On the other hand, if you're planning to stick around for future content, then I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to make a mistake and grow from it. I say this all the time when I stream, but not a day goes by where I take any of this for granted. And the fact that so many of you watch me, whether you're driving home, chilling at work, doing chores, knitting, or just eating, I'm so honored to be able to make your day a bit less mundane with my videos. It's truly a blessing. Thank you. I also would like to thank my Discord mods, my friends, and my viewers who reached out during this time. It meant a lot, and I really appreciate it. The Sykkuno video was live for a week, so I'll keep this video live for a week as well. However, I do plan to private the original video as soon as this video gets uploaded. I hope to be back sooner rather than later, continuing to make videos that you enjoy at the level of quality that you expect of me. As always, thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video, whenever that is.
He should keep that video up, just for the sake of transparency. It's unfortunate with the state of the internet that even if you make mistakes, and you then try to rectify them, people would then start building a narrative around your rectification or correction. You never win. This was a genuinely good response in my opinion. And yes, I feel very sorry for the girlfriend for going through all of this. The unfortunate nature of it all, however, is that when multiple people are now involved in a case like this, when your boyfriend admitted to his wrongdoings, it is not only your decision to make whether or not information should be made public. It sucks. Yes, it fucking sucks, but it's his fault. You should be mad at him. But yeah, that being said, that has been my take on this matter. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Wish you all to have a wonderful day, and also hold me up to my accountability whenever I do something wrong. I know that plenty of you already do that in my comment section, and sometimes you write to me that you are disappointed if I do something that seems wrong to you, for me then to reply to you, explain myself. So keep doing that, keep staying awesome, and yeah, keep watching videos. Yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.